There is something that few people realize. When a chosen one sheds a tear, the impact goes beyond what the eyes can do. Did you feel that your mere presence was unsettling? What causes some people to lose their energy for no apparent reason? If at any point you have experienced unexplained rejection, long-winded words without purpose, or a sense of isolation, something much more serious is happening. However, why does this happen? Will some people bring something that causes severe reactions? Moreover, what happens when the same people feel the need to cry? The answers to these questions reveal a profound spiritual phenomenon. The tears of a chosen one are not common, and their pain never dies in the universe. Many people feel that something has changed in their path since then. They are those who, without knowing why, face challenges that seem insurmountable. The energy they carry changes the environment around them, evoking feelings that range from admiration to discouragement. Those who go with a unique mission often have to deal with ignorance, resistance, and even unsolicited attacks. And when this becomes unbearable, when it crosses the line, tears fall. If this message touched your heart and you feel ready for something bigger, go ahead. Join the channel and help spread this energy, strengthening our community. It goes without saying that cutting the video makes a big difference. "I'm awakening to my true essence," writes one of the commenters and shares their journey. Together we will discover what is in store for us. Contrary to popular belief, this song does not indicate weakness. They are not a mere fleeting release, they are not surrender. It is a powerful spiritual experience, an energetic release that resonates beyond the tangible world. The tears of a chosen one are made of something unusual, a vibrant weight that moves in planes most people cannot understand. Few people realize that this suffering is never ignored. There is a balance that governs all things, and it manifests in unexpected ways. Everything moves whenever a chosen one sheds tears of pain. The energy accumulated throughout the course of the trials does not dissipate into nothingness. Instead, it generates reactions that shape paths. Many people have already felt this way. Intense moments of anxiety followed by unexpected setbacks. After all this struggle, an invisible force would come into play and reorganize everything. This doesn't happen by accident. Each tear is interpreted by some as a spiritual mission in the universe, as a calling. And the answer always comes. Did you mention that something inside you changes after an intense moment? How is it that that tear that came out of there was not only sad but also turned? What many people don't realize is that the tears of a chosen one are rare. They do not represent weakness or defeat. In reality, it is a purification, an energetic cleansing that restores balance and strength. But here's a crucial detail. Who made this door AC go unpunished? They believed they could have subdued you and that their words or actions had no effect. The only thing these people don't know is that when they are chosen, they don't stop with just one person. We are moving towards something much greater, something that goes beyond what the human mind can understand. There are rules in the universe from which no one can escape. What you throw forward sooner or later comes back to you. And this response is stronger when someone tries to evade a chosen one. Have you noticed that, quite often, those who tried to crush ended up facing unexpected difficulties? How can regret make their lives start to crumble, filled with challenges and setbacks? This is not a coincidence. This is balance. Cosecha dolor, quien esparce dolor. Not because he wanted to travel. On the contrary, he continues on his journey. But because the original energy that was released has returned. Moreover, the intensity of this volta is proportional to the impact they tried to cause. What's more impressive? The chosen one doesn't need to do anything. It is not necessary to review, it is not necessary to wish harm. The mere fact of being mistreated already sets this energy in motion. A passage from the Bible says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted." This means that no suffering is ever without hope. And this is the aspect that few people understand. For a chosen one, pain is not a process but a conclusion. Each spillage is strengthened, shaped, and purified. What seems to be a blow to destroy becomes a mist that consumes everything that is no longer useful. Finally, only what is true, unattainable, and ready for a new cycle remains. Because messing with a chosen one never ends well for the person who caused the harm. Did you feel that after going through difficult times, you were no longer the same? What is the situation with your startup? However, instead of this, I saw a stronger version of yours. This doesn't happen by accident. The chosen ones face significant challenges because they are being shaped for something greater. It's not a punishment. It's a process. As the universe would tell and explain to you, you were born for something great. So, I am going to remove everything that does not align with your purpose. As a result, the chosen ones often feel as if they are being abandoned. True transformation never occurs in comfort. For the butterfly to move, the cocoon must be broken. Only after being tested by the mist does gold become pure. Extreme pressure gives rise to the diamond. And this is the great mistake made by those who try to bring down a chosen one. They think they can destroy them, but in reality they are only strengthening something they cannot understand. No chosen one is diminished by any tears shed, any betrayal, or any injustice. On the contrary, everything is fuel for their evolution. Thus we have a twist. Whoever seems to be at the bottom of the pit is lifted up. Moreover, he is even brighter than before. Whoever tried to break it saw, perplexed, how some people who had gone through so much now had uncontrollable strength. After the regret, the same words that once had the same effect no longer do. What used to hurt now seems insignificant. Something in the chosen one has changed. That's what makes them different. They not only survive death, they also use it as motivation to become stronger. There comes a moment when the chosen person realizes something important. Everything that happened had a purpose. No rejection was in vain. None of the losses were intentional. Each battle helped create a stronger version of themselves. Thus the question is mute. Leave meaning, why did this happen to me? After saying this, he begins to ask, what was this for? It is the despair of consciousness. He believes he was forged by the world rather than being a victim of it. Each obstacle is meant to refine him rather than destroy him. This awakening does not happen at any other time. She bursts out with a deep sense that nothing will ever be the same again. The criticisms that used to be made now seem empty. The negative words that were once used are now used without force. When he looked at those who tried to hurt him, he felt nothing. Without anger, without resentment. It's true that it doesn't use up any more of his energy. At this point, something unexpected happens. People tried to make them feel this way. They believe that the chosen person who previously seemed vulnerable now has a different presence. She is a powerful force that cannot be questioned. And that annoys. Because the main response of a chosen one is not revenge. It is to be dismembered, untouchable. While some people see suffering as a burden, others see it as a stepping stone towards something more meaningful. What once seemed unbearable now appears as part of their evolution. After facing such challenges, he realizes that it's nothing more than the same. They don't just endure, they rise. The need to be accepted disappears. He no longer takes other people's opinions seriously and doesn't try to explain why he exists so that no one has to worry about understanding him. It was time to mold himself to sleep in small spaces. And those who tried to shrink it yesterday without understanding how some of them managed to do it so many times, ended up becoming stronger. When the chosen one awakens their true strength, everything changes. Their energy changes, and as a result, everything around them adjusts as well. The connections that once seemed to suffocate them disappear, making way for people who truly add something positive to their path. When everything seemed hopeless and full of obstacles, now things are starting to flow naturally. At a certain moment, certain ports open up. I don't mean to say that life is perfect or that challenges don't arise. However, he is no longer so affected by the situation. He recognizes his own worth and is not offended. The people who had previously tried to use or manipulate him felt as if they had lost control. He sees things as they really are. He perceives patterns, picks up on games, and feels the energy through words. And that makes change uncomfortable. Those who benefit from their ingenuity don't know how to use this new version. He was always available, always trying to do things right, and always putting others first. He no longer has the means to say no. You don't have to stop when you realize something isn't working properly. And something interesting happens. Who once mocked their pain now wonders how they managed to get the game. How did those who endured so much suffering find the strength to tear themselves apart even more? The answer was simple: they now understood what it was. And as a result, the weight they were carrying disappeared. It's no longer behind. Don't mention love, recognition, or validation. As long as you live your truth. And when this happens, the universe reacts powerfully. What seemed insignificant yesterday comes close effortlessly. Opportunities arise at every moment. Everything starts to fall into place. And so he perceives the great lesson. He never needed to be accepted. He just needed to stop trying to enter places that weren't his. If this message is touching your heart and you know you need more content like this, contact us today and help us strengthen our awakening journey. It's not a bad idea to leave your like so that other people can connect with this energy. And if you feel that my content is making a difference for you, please accept my sincere gratitude. Besides being a gesture, your support is crucial for our continued delivery of such content. Currently, there are no doubts or insecurities. He understands that every challenge was a challenge and every question was an instruction. Finally, he is ready to take the space that was always his. He simply knows. There are no more doubts, questions, or uncertainties. The chosen one now understood who he was, and this realization changed everything. The need for explanation disappears. He never stops trying to be understood by those who have no intention of listening to him. It is more important to prove your worth to those who constantly underestimate your strength. Currently, he walks without stopping and without carrying the weight of Alhaid. Because her mission is more important than any opinion. What once seemed like a burden now seems like a gift. His sensitivity, intuition, and unique way of understanding the world were never flaws. Instead, they were always powerful tools. He moved forward while others were lost in illusions. They were interpreting the signs while many others were ignoring them. And those who tried to destroy it? Eventually, without understanding how some people suffered, I was able to become unshakable. They murdered her, discredited her strength, and tried to kill her on the ground. However, without realizing it, they were merely instruments in her journey. The Chosen One does not harbor animosity. He does not seek love and does not feed on resentment. His strength is not motivated by the desire to prove anything to others, but by the conviction that nothing can stop someone from being in line with their true mission. It is a great truth that many people do not want to accept. Those who tried to destroy him never had control over his life. They believed they were winning, that they were losing, and that their words and actions had the power to weaken the Chosen One. Everything we did was to help him become stronger. Each lesson taught the students to choose the best connections. Each harsh word or phrase conveys the idea that self-esteem cannot depend on external validation. Each port had the motivation to create its own opportunities. Those who tried to do it were only a part of the process and not the end of the story. Parts of a larger puzzle that were used to shape, polish, and prepare like a diamond that needed pressure to shine. And now it doesn't need to hide. He doesn't even have his own light. He no longer diminishes his essence to be found where no one was. Without judgment, without loneliness, and without doubts about the future, they accompanied him on his journey of captivity. Because they know, I am aware that you are not alone. Even in the darkest moments, a greater force or guidance was present. During those days when it was quiet at night and I felt like I hadn't slept, I realized that something greater was already planning its course. And they have arrived there now. No one can stop him. He doesn't need to prove anything, fight for acceptance, or try to convince anyone of his truth. Their mere existence is proof that they existed. It is at this point when the true transformation occurs. When the chosen object completely loses its purpose, its energy changes in a way that few people can understand. It starts to run after objects and attract them. The people who were once ignorant are now trying to get closer. The opportunities that seemed impossible are starting to appear. Life used to be full of obstacles, but now it flows naturally. This does not mean that challenges will disappear. However, he no longer fights against the current because he understands the rhythm of the universe. He ages when he is sure and trusts when he feels the need to wait. The concern that one day the consumer will no longer have space in their life. He knows that each phase has a purpose, so he no longer cares about the changes. These awakenings are really gentle. Those who were used to having him always available, always trying to improve him, always shaping him to fill our spaces, now felt that they had control. The Chosen One learned to say, no. He learned to walk away when necessary without guilt or excuse. He discovered that some people only benefited from his kindness and never lived on his side of the truth. And now that there are no more crumbs, these people don't know how to react. Before, he was worried about not deceiving others. Now he prioritizes not being deceived by himself. And something interesting happens. The words that came out of her mouth yesterday were observed in silence. Without understanding, he managed to turn around. How can someone who has been through so much have such a strong light? The answer was simple. Now they understood what it was. And when a chosen one discovers their true essence, they will return. I no longer beg for attention, I don't seek approval, and I don't waste my energy trying to convince anyone of anything. They simply live their truth. And the universe reacts to that. What used to take years now happens naturally. What once seemed distant is now within your reach. Opportunities, encounters, and synchronicities begin to appear precisely at this point. Because now he is aligned with who he truly is. At this moment, he realizes something crucial. He doesn't need to fight to be accepted. All he needed to do was stop trying to find a place where he didn't belong. This is the ultimate goal of their search for validation. The end of doubts, insecurities, and the attempts to change oneself to please others. Now walk with confidence without stopping. The people who tried to make him feel small today cannot do so. They underestimated his strength yesterday, but with the right eyes, nothing could break him. He was reborn. Moreover, he assumed that he had always been himself. Did you think it was going to come to this? Did you realize that everything was preparing for something much bigger? The Chosen One recognizes that their journey was never pleasant. Every challenge, every obstacle, every pain has a reason. And now is the time to fulfill this purpose. The time to hide is over. The time to shine came and went. If you have made it this far, I sincerely appreciate your dedication and presence. This indicates that you are committed to your awakening, and I feel honored to be able to share this journey with you. If you believe this content has been helpful, please consider giving the channel a super thanks. Your support is essential for us to continue bringing more videos like this. I would like to hear from you again. Please leave a comment below and we will discuss the topics we covered today. The exchange of ideas is crucial for our collective development. And if you don't forget to insert it into the channel, you won't lose anything. Until the next video, and keep progressing on your evolutionary path.